He's
I
like,
don't know, he does get
There's even more economical option, I guess.
except for, you know, he only has a bed and a desk.
You get the bed?
Well, he works tonight. We gotta have a fun.
I have a gift bedroom. Never asked me.
No, I have a hobby farm. I have animals waiting to be fed and let out.
I got a 9-pound yellow lab.
Yes.
I tell you, Macy was perfect yesterday.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock, I believe. I'll call the January meeting of the Townwide School Board to order, please. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Haithman. Here. Huseby. Hirsch. Kissinger-Wolf.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Scuball. Swente.
Here.
Baloo.
Here.
Zimmerman.
Here. I believe we have a quorum. So with that, I entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second. Baloo.
Okay, I have a motion, a second, to adopt the agenda as presented. Any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment, do we have any public comment this evening? No? Okay. Then the consent agenda, a few items on the consent agenda is approve the minutes from the regular meeting of December 13th, 2022. Approve the minutes for the closed session on December 13th, 2022. Approve the invoices from December 10th, 2022 to January 6th, 2023. Employment and contracts adjustments, which include the above pay and donations. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I so move. Swente?
Second.
I'll second.
Kissinger-Wolf. A motion second to approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Staff reports. Guy?
Yes, for the elementary school, I gave you my report. We are looking at doing, we had that no hands raising, trying to get some other responses. But our staff meeting for that 1 month is not until tomorrow, so I'll be able to share our work towards more explicit instruction and kind of what we found with the engagement that we're looking for with the no hands raising. A couple things I didn't put on here was we have our 4K registration day coming up, January 27th. It's a good time for our families to get in. The ones that aren't familiar with us, parents get a chance to see what their environment for the 4K will look like for next year. We get to meet some of those families. The ones that are familiar with us, we still get to have the children in and hopefully get a comfort level for them coming to us in the fall. And then I also have had some attendance meetings for some students that were a little bit concerned with attendance at the elementary level. So I've had 6 meetings coming back from break to hopefully explain the importance and what we look for with attendance and why it's important. So I've had a couple of those meetings because attendance is on our strategic plan. So just wanted to highlight that too.
Okay. Any questions for Guy? Okay, thank you. Middle?
I'm up. Literally in the middle, too. We obviously sat in order today. It's nice. So you can see there's a lot going on in the middle school again with our board report. I feel like it's a really quick turnaround from when we were here last in December. But a couple things I just thought were interesting that I wanted to point out and the whole student when talking about some of our ACP activities. So Dawn is going to be going in with the 6th graders and doing some career exploration activities this month based on their top identified careers. And I just thought they were interesting, so I thought I'd share them with you. So the number 1 identified career was heavy equipment operator. Number 2 was animal trainer. Number 3 is tree harvester. And number 4 is professional athlete. So, so she's going to be addressing all of them. She's actually having a guest speaker come in from Ponzi that'll be able to kind of address heavy equipment operation and tree harvesting all in the same presentation. She has something lined up for a professional athlete as well, and then looking at how we're going to incorporate the animal trainer career. I just thought it was kind of interesting, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. We are really excited about continuing our work with our PBIS Rewards pilot. The 6th grade team rolled that out about a week or 2 before break. We trained, Shirley came in and we trained them, and the kids are starting to be curious as to what their points are and looking at their bank and what they can spend their money on. And I was just sharing with Sherry, the teachers are able to set up their own individual classroom store so kids can get different items from their classroom, like a free homework pass or something like a lot of different things. So now we have to go in and set up our school store so kids can redeem bigger items for our school. And now that we completed our fundraiser and have some funds, we went in and Miss Gibo asked her class, okay guys, if you could spend some big ticket items, what would you like? So the kids generated this big list. And we were asking Melissa Neiman's son yesterday, okay, if you could spend your points, what would you like to get? Would you want to bank them? Would you want something quickly, an instant gratification? So he came up with a bunch of stuff, and we went on Amazon today and went on a little shopping spree to load up our store with some different items. And I was just setting it up after school today, so pretty soon we're going to be able to go live with that and then roll that out to our 7th and 8th grade as well. And it'll be interesting to see if the kids will want to bank up their points for some of these big ticket items that we put in there, go for some of the smaller stuff. But it's the 6th grade right now, it's going really well. It's a neat system because the kids each have a unique QR code, and that code is on their planners and it's also on their Chromebooks. So when the teachers want to reward them points, they can scan either one, and then it's instant, and then the kids can check it too. So it's pretty cool. So we're excited about that and to roll it out to everybody. But I was all excited because I was telling these guys, it's like setting up my own little mini business. And I got to clip all these pictures and set up categories, so it's kind of fun. But so we're looking forward to rolling that out with everybody. But any other questions you guys may have for me?
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, high school?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Okay.
Good evening. We're going to highlight 2 of the pillars this month, the teaching, learning, and relevance pillar, and then the district workforce. I'm gonna speak to the teaching, learning, and relevance pillar. To start, this first one specifically under our strategic action item, the high school scorecard under numeracy. So we have compiled data with Teresa's help, which included student ACT scores, along with courses they have taken in high school for the math department, per their request. They have started and will continue to analyze this data in order to identify trends and to discover if there's any correlation between the courses that they're taking and their performance proficiencies on the ACT. They're also analyzing areas of weakness in the math portion of the ACT and taking a real close look at where those areas are covered in current coursework so that they can make adjustments as need be going forward. And again, both the ELA and the math departments continue to work on identifying their proficiencies with their identified essential targets, and then to develop their summative assessments and formative assessments so that they're accurately measuring those proficiencies and meeting kids where they're at. Okay?
Okay. So 2 items that I just wanted to comment on was under the teaching, learning, and relevance, the relevancy piece there with our relevancy goal, and that was going back to our redefining ready indicators. So, if you can recall our presentation that we did a few months ago with all the different indicators of readiness for post-high school, there's a lot there, and it deals with a lot of data tracking, not only to be able to report out how we're doing, but also to develop systems to increase participation, for example, or attainment and achievement in the dual credit classes. So one of the things that we're just really diving into right now is that data piece, and we're finding out that is a very labor-intensive process, and we've been actually researching different tools that might be able to help us to purchase different kinds of data tracking tools looking at the ones we already have, and we're kind of coming to dead ends because it's either not feasible by cost, or the tools that we have just don't get us far enough along. So what we're starting to do at the high school is basically set up, I'll call it a matrix of the different types of data points that we want, the sources of where we're needing to find that data or where we're gonna have to start tracking it, and then who would be in charge of updating that information and gathering it. So we're kind of going through a messy part right now of I'm trying to lay that out in a written form so that we can have all these different people, because it involves a lot, doing their part, and in the end we get the data pieces we need in order to get to different groups to make decisions. So we're kind of neck deep in that right now, and it's going fine, but it takes a lot of time to get those written procedures in place. But it's really good work. It's definitely worth it, and it's where we want to be. The other part I'll just point out is under the district workforce, and this one goes into teaching, learning, and relevance a little bit as well, because of the result of it is our building leadership team has been taking kind of a finite look at daily operations as well as big picture thinking about how we can be more efficient with our time. And a part of that is continue to build more collaboration time into our workday. And so it's been really good because with all the different lenses, you're looking at, kind of following a teacher through their course of the workday, as well as even looking at things like PD days and what we can do for ourselves that still help us meet the district goals as well as some of our building level goals. So right now it's been a lot of conversation, a lot of good ideas, and a lot of questions of why. And that's been healthy for us. So it's been kind of an audit right now as we go through and look at our day. But that's been a lot of really good conversation work by our building leadership team. So I wanted to point that out. So any particular questions for Sherry or I?
Any questions for him? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Wendy, I think you're, or Tracy,
So,
you're up next?
since we're going around, I'll go.
Okay.
I'm just gonna highlight a couple of things in my report, and one, I don't know if you've heard or not, we have 2 new students that have come from the Ukraine, and so the timing is right in the EL assessment window, and so we'll assess language level and then try to meet needs as best we can. Google Translate has been amazing, and being a Chrome district and them having experience with Chrome, that's been a tool that's been very, very useful for our students. They're very comfortable with that. So we have other students in the district as well that will participate in the WIDA testing. Most of our students who are very young and have been in the district don't no longer need testing. Once they reach level 5, they don't need to be tested. So I'd like to highlight a couple of things directly related to curriculum that really is speaking to rigor. It was very exciting that when I came back, there were discussions in the high school math department around AP Pre-Calc. So when we met with Mr. Hughesby in the department prior to break, there was a lot of excitement about shifting to another AP offering. And so we did a crosswalk of what we currently have in pre-calculus and then what the company that we currently have, Pearson, to support our pre-calculus. And they didn't give us what the increased rigor was. They wanted us to buy their book. So after 5 hours of doing a crosswalk and then checking that with Mr. Jarvincevu, we were able to see, hey, here's where we're at. Here's what the increase in rigor will be if we move to AP, and very much excited about it. And so we're really, really excited he's moving in that direction. And then I'm also very excited that working with the middle school and high school content areas, they have asked to work and do some vertical work together. So simple things in English language arts, looking at the materials they're using, or in science, they want to talk about what that learning scope and sequence looks like. So I just love it when the teachers really are interested in the work that we're doing and they're asking for this type of work, and our job is to facilitate it and make sure it's of quality. So, any questions?
Are these 2 Ukraine students living with a family?
Yeah, so they're hosted and they're here on a 2-year visa, and the intent is that they're now placed here for the remainder of that 2 years.
Just the kids? Or the
Kids, a
family?
mother is here as well, and I understand, I'm not sure where dad is, but
I mean, they can't leave. So, yeah.
it's exciting.
Was that planned? Or is it just something that came up?
Well, it's the U for You program where these students came with a host family in another state in the United States,
Mhm.
and then ended up coming to a family here. And so for them, it was planned. For us, it was right before Christmas break. We were told they're coming, and they were going to change host families to a Tomahawk-based host family.
Okay, okay. The two foreign exchange students were here, one from Norway and Germany, I think. Are they still here or not? Was that just a?
Well, there's more than two, there's like 4 or 5, isn't there?
I think we have 4 or 5, yeah.
Because,
Are they here for the whole year?
I think one is returned.
Okay. Okay.
I know they came through the historical museum on a tour with Mr. Hernandez's group. He's like, where'd all these foreign exchange students come from? Yeah.
That's fun.
Okay, good, thank you.
Guess I'm last. So I just have 2 things out of my report that I'm just gonna highlight. On January 20th, on our in-service, Mr. Ryder has set up for some counselors to come talk to the middle school and high school staff about building resiliency, just for the first part of that in-service day before the teachers get to their work. And then the other area, our social emotional curriculum currently use Second Step. Our contract is up on that, so we've had it for 2 years, so the counselors and Teresa and myself have started looking at that, and we're compiling a committee of community members, parents, board members, teachers, the counselors, so we'll have an informational session, which we have in the notes, and then we'll get that out through Seesaw and Skyward to parents so that they're aware of it, and then Teresa and I are also gonna go on WJJQ to talk about it during Wendell Slot when he's gone next week, so that the community is aware about it, so then people will find out what it is, what the timeline is, and how they can become involved and give their input on that process as well. And then the whole timeline for the commitment and what that involves, so that they're aware of what their role is and how they can participate and give input. So, any questions on that?
Will that be advertised on the radio and?
Yep, we're gonna be on, we're gonna take, Teresa and I are gonna go on during Wendell's spot next week, on the 17th, I think,
So
at 9:30.
people know about it before the 6th?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and then we'll put it on our website too, and we'll probably put it on the Facebook page as well, just so that we're very transparent, so that people can become involved and ask questions and understand the whole what and how and why. So,
Okay.
okay.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. The elementary matrix, he's taken.
That was part of, it's just attached together.
Yeah, Ann had asked for it, and I know I mentioned it a number of times in my report the
Yeah.
last couple months, and I was kind of glad she asked and realized that I should probably make that something that the whole board has.
Okay, thank you. Wendell.
Oh, yeah, my staff for it. All right, I do have a couple of things, 2 things here. Thank you, by the way.
Name on it.
So, we've had some discussion about spring parent-teacher conferences, and we are going to look at doing a hybrid like we've done. We did it last year, and we carried it into this fall. And we've seemed to have a lot of positive feedback and see success in getting families to engage in that process. Some really like the virtual conferences, others still like the face-to-face. So spring conferences are coming up the 2nd week of February, and what we'll do is that whole week, our teachers can plan their virtual conferences wherever they fit in their normal schedules, and then, or before and after school, extended time if they need to, and then we will hold an evening event on that Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. And then that following morning typically was a 9 to noon. What we'll do is we won't have teachers report to the building, but if they do have follow-up conferences and things like that, they can do those virtually. So we won't have that Friday. So I'll be sending out some internal information tomorrow, and then we'll finalize the communication on that when we send it out probably in early February to all of our families. But that seemed to work really well last year at that time of year, and we figured we'd do that again. The Wisconsin Education Convention is next week, so Wednesday through Friday. There will be 4 board members attending that conference, and so we did put the posting, the required posting. It showed up earlier this evening on Board Books, so we're all taken care of with the legal publications there. And then I did share a document out with the entire board, just so you can see the different, sessions that are available and that sort of thing, and there's a spot there that we can sign up or put our names in, whatever we're attending. And then just a reminder that next month is, this was actually the end of quarter 2, believe it or not, and for the fiscal year, so we will have our financial report on the February agenda coming up.
Anything else?
That is it.
Any questions for Lincoln?
Well, kind of all. There's a meeting from the county, the Lincoln County Community Forum on health and that type of thing. The principals have gotten that. It's the 26th, just when there's anybody planning on going to that?
I am attending it.
Are you? Okay.
Well, I'm planning on it, and
This
that's
is, I know it's during the school day and that, I'll be
Yep.
down there too, but I was just wondering if there's anybody from the school
Yep, no,
representation.
I am
Good.
planning on attending it.
I was planning on attending, but we have our ACT practice test that morning, so we'll see if I get to
Yeah.
go or not.
Sometimes, that's 2 weeks away, sometimes the world implodes before then, and I never know what changes that day, the intent is to go, but,
Yeah, and I'll be down there, but it's been a couple of
Yep.
years since we've had one, and I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure that you guys
that's
are
the
aware.
plan, but it all depends upon who rolls in that day and what kind of mood.
With mental health being a big topic on there, I'm sure there'll be
Yeah.
a lot of discussion.
Okay. I guess just one comment I have for the 4 individuals who will be attending the state convention, as best as you can. I think that, we would like to see people attend as many of the sessions as possible, so maybe if one go to this one go to that one, if they're at the same time or something, rather than all 4 go to the same one, I think would be helpful. So we get as much information as we possibly can. Just a thought. Okay.
Got that.
Okay, item 9, approve the second reading of the 2 policies, the district and school report card and the citizens advisory committees. Any comment on that, Ann? Okay, Deb?
Just the
Okay,
second reading.
okay, and I entertain a motion to approve that second reading.
I so move, Swente.
Second?
Long.
Okay, motion and second to approve the second reading of the 2 policies presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, approve the number of regular education and special education spaces available in the district. Any comment on those, Randall, or anyone?
Comments, questions? It's very similar to other years we've done it, so we have to base it on a formula. One doesn't equal one spot. It can depend upon the intensity of new needs, if they have, hygiene, physical cares, behaviors, one-on-one. So you take that into consideration, and then any related services that we have to contract out or pay for, those are automatically closed because they can't cause you to incur more costs from the district. So the numbers are broken down in there and how many that will take in each area, broken down by grade segments, and that's about it. Questions? Very similar. If you're currently open enrolled, they're guaranteed that spot. Our policy has that. So if they're already here, we don't kick them out. They don't count towards our numbers. So if Ron's open enrolled here now, he doesn't count as one of those seats available. He already a given.
I was gonna ask that question.
Yeah.
Good, okay.
All right, and then one other thing,
Yep.
well, not related to this, but the roads are getting bad, so are you guys okay if Guy and I start our hour drive home after this? Okay.
Sure.
Because we're getting-
have a bed there?
Don't I? I do have a son, but he only has a bed and a desk that lives here, and he doesn't like me sleeping in his bed, so I'm gonna pass on that.
Our house is still here for the CNA, of course not.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the number of regular education, special education spaces available within the district.
I so move, Baloo.
Second?
I'll second it, because you will.
Motion is second to approve the number of regular education, special education spaces available within the district. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 11, approve the new high school course additions for 23-24. I think we're getting a presentation.
Yes, Mrs. Schroeder is here. She's our 612 art teacher. And she's been working very passionately in the district since she arrived with going through and revising and updating curriculum, and she's now to the phase where she would like to propose new art courses for us to take a look at. And she's got great rationale and a lot of thought and effort going into it, so
Are
she can
these
speak from here.
high school courses?
Yes.
I mean, they don't have them too, so I don't know.
They disagree on you?
Sorry. I saw you had it
just
up.
click on the
Told Dean I didn't need them.
I was reading on this and can I sign up? Can I go get it?
There you go.
Okay, of course.
So kind of big picture is 3 courses over 2 years. Creating a new digital art pathway. I'm going to scroll actually to the bottom first, just to kind of put that picture in your head of how it's kind of going to change out to. So kind of keeping a 3-dimensional thing with ceramics, just kind of rebranding those. We're taking kind of a big picture, adding in a digital art pathway where digital multimedia, going to pull in photography, kind of a big thing, Photoshop, those kind of things. We also got approval for those 2 courses and kind of the one that's in addition in a couple of years for NTC to add in a dual credit option. That way kids can kind of get all that in there. So the digital multimedia is more that kind of photography, Adobe Photoshop's one of those ones all the kids want to know how to do all that anyway, so let's kind of go for it. Graphic design concepts is more looking at they're in design where you're kind of actually creating things in a workspace, and then the idea is later on, once those have some time to run, give kids another outlet where it's more that senior capstone piece, where then they have to put all of the kind of art courses into there and do some drawing and painting, that traditional kind of art focus, and combine it, because really in order to do digital things you do need kind of that artsy side of drawing and hands-on things. So one cool thing I also had in here with myself and Tech Ed, we could potentially have almost an entire semester's worth of NTC credit if they do want to kind of go that route. So.
Can I just interject just for a minute?
Yeah.
I think this is a great slide because when you talk about staff collaboration and needing to increase opportunities for them to do that, these are the kinds of programs that you can see when 2 departments can work together. So I know that Mrs. Schroeder and Mr. Rudis in Tech Ed with the Hatchet Innovations course did a lot of kind of co-planning, laying out what the curriculum would look like, and then between the 2 of them, as you mentioned, the dual credit opportunities for students and possibly the software certifications as well, those industry certs that we're looking for. But that happens because you give 2 good teachers an opportunity to talk to each other and co-plan and lay those things out for kids.
Yeah. So,
Thanks.
I don't know if I said all the things, but
No, you did.
okay.
We got it all. Yeah.
So, I guess any big questions?
Yeah, what would you expect, or are you planning on for class size for some of these courses?
Good question. My goal is, minimum 15, 18 plus. I know I've kind of just put the bug in a couple kids' ears and their eyes light up. They're really excited. So coming in, I think maybe next year might be a good push. I think we might get a little pushback from some of the kids. I don't know if you had a chance to look at too. We had to kind of cut a few things in order to make the new things happen. So there might be maybe a couple of not so happy kids, but maybe I'm going to be grabbing kids I wouldn't have normally been able to grab in the past. So that's my hope. A good number, 15, 18, somewhere in there. I mean, we have 24 28 seats max, I don't remember what
30.
that. 30, okay, well, let's fill them all up.
I think you'll fill it. I think you'll fill it.
Okay, well, this, let's say we get to 30. Is this then gonna potentially look at hiring another staff member to help with this, or?
At this point, we've always had systems in place where if a course or a department, the enrollment exceeds the staffing, we go into a prioritization scheme where, seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen, as far as who would keep the course and then roll the kids over into the next school year to take it. So that's just been across the board, our procedure that we have in place for any course and department.
And when are you looking to start this?
Next school year.
24?
Yep.
Okay, or 23, 24?
Yeah, 23, 24 for the digital multimedia as well as that graphic design concepts. Give kids a year to play with it. That way, the following year they can do that second level.
Okay, so would it be difficult for a senior to start next year? To do any of it?
They have the option to take those, so they wouldn't be able to do that that final other one, but these are more of a prereq in there. They're singletons in a way, where you don't have to take, say, digital graphic design in order to do the other one. So maybe a senior is at a little bit of a disadvantage because they wouldn't be able.
But a senior could take graphic design?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Like all these 6 you see on there, that could happen. So they could
Okay.
take those 2 on the right hand side.
Okay.
And I think that's a benefit of how you design the courses is not have prereq when you don't need them.
Yeah.
To open up the flexibility for students. I
And
thought
even
you
though
did that well.
Do have a lot of prereqs. Right now I have like 27 painting kids and 31 drawing kids. I don't think it'll be even an issue next year or like the following year to have kids that are going to be ready and prepared to get that next level in there.
Do you need any equipment, any additional equipment or anything like that?
I mean, the big one that the digital multimedia is going to need is like digital cameras, that kind of. I think the other ones can run. I talked with Dean. We have enough Adobe licenses to run the programs that we need. So I mean, the cameras is really kind of the only one. I'm going to touch base with NTC and see if they have like a. If you don't have any cameras, what do we recommend kind of going forward? So.
Okay. I asked that just if the board needs to be prepared for
Financially,
anything coming forward.
and we've also done things where we've shared, for example, there might be some partnership with Yearbook, or our LMC has digital media or digital cameras to be able to check out. So, I mean, and when it comes to the cameras, those are things that, to get a course up and running that are within our budget allotment that we can do to get that initial phase of tech. But ultimately, I agree with you, the cameras are probably the only piece, and it's pretty minimal.
Yeah, if the brands make it new 2023s, we can probably find some, older ones that are still valid and good. I mean, no matter what, you buy a brand new one this year, it's gonna be outdated the next year, so.
And Mrs. Schroeder and I have talked about too, the camera on student phones is pretty high quality now as well.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
And that sometimes exceeds unless you need lens and zoom capability, things of that
You don't buy a new
nature.
phone, you buy a new camera these
Yeah,
days. That's
yeah.
what it is, so. If we needed to, we could break those rules a little bit.
God,
I'm gonna take some of those courses.
I'm
My son.
just kind of thinking out loud, if we do need some, maybe it might be an opportunity to approach business
Mm.
and see what they might be willing to donate or.
We have grants available at the Tomahawk Community Thrift Shop, so that's we have kids, students working there, so.
Good, yeah.
Just as a thought for the graphic design concepts, and maybe you're already thinking this direction, but coming from my previous role, granted it was in university, but we had a graphic design department at our student center that was entirely hired from student workers in the graphic design curriculum or program, so that they were making real practical things for the school and getting the experience. Just thinking back a few months ago, I made a few flyers for the girls' basketball program because nobody else was able to do it, but it'd be nice for, different departments to come to your program and say, I need a flyer about this, can you have the
And
student work
that's
something
kind
up?
of some of the things in my head is when we do get to kind of that second level.
Mhm.
That's kind of where
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can like bring some of those, you know, community pieces or make things for dance or something, I don't know, just.
Right,
whatever it is, you know.
yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, don't box yourself in. Okay?
I have a question. It notes here, like the NTC dual credit option, is there a difference in the way, maybe I don't understand dual credit,
So I
but
need,
do they get the dual credit regardless?
I have to also double check. I know in the past district, we worked with other, colleges and like only 11, 12 could get it. I need to double check with NTC. It wouldn't stop a ninth grader if NTC doesn't allow dual credit to go through for them to take the course. They just couldn't get
The
the
credit,
dual credit. So I
okay,
need to double check just how many levels can get it, so.
okay,
Just-
thank you.
Yeah, and just to add, I mean, just kind of to revisit that dual credit thought in your heads, the student is enrolled in NTC, they're gonna get an NTC transcript that says they took a class at NTC, and Mrs. Schroeder will be certified by the NTC faculty to teach the course at the curriculum and the rigor level that they expect. And it's at, the student's gonna get that credit to take with them at no cost to them whatsoever. And that's really a wonderful power of dual credit, and that's why it's one of our readiness indicators. So, I mean, compliment to Mrs. Schroeder for thinking about, career pathways, and here's a way for students that have a lot of artistic ability to find a way to make a living at it. It's a career pathway, it's something that has dual credit opportunities that we want students to be able to obtain. And through their work and their courses, they're prepping themselves to be able to take, for example, an Adobe Illustrator professional certification exam. So where they can walk out of the door and go into any place of business with an Adobe certification that says, I have a high level of knowledge about how to use these programs. So she's thought of all those different things to just build them naturally into the course sequence, and again, partner with Mr. Rudis in the Hatchet Innovation class too. So a lot to account for. So.
And does the school system have to pay for the credits though? Not with this program, it's with another
That's
one?
early college credit program and Start College.
So there's no cost to the
There's no
school?
cost. Just our operational cost for the class.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Kudos.
Yeah, awesome,
Any
thank
other
you.
questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
And I'm gonna head out too
Yeah.
before those roads get over. Thanks you all.
Thank you.
And I'd entertain a motion to approve the new high school course.
I so move, Swente.
Second.
Second, Baloo.
Got a motion second to approve the new high school course. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 12, school board election update. Wendell?
So, just a brief update, but there are 3 open seats. All 3 candidates have filed the necessary paperwork to run again, and all 3 incumbents will be running unopposed. So, that's where we're at right now.
They're all 3 sitting here, right? Thank you.
Thank you. Like so excited. Don't tell Jen.
Yeah, don't lose either.
We got a
I'll figure it, she'll ask me once she sees the ballot. Okay, 13, review the 22-23 WASB resolutions.
So the WASB resolutions were provided in board book, basically, these are, just any additions that will be up for discussion, debate, and then ultimately, approval by, the delegates that are there to set the legislative agenda for WASB. So, Deb and I did meet to go through these, and I think for the most part, they're all things that we would, support, and there is, and Deb will be our delegate, by the way. And I think there's 1 or 2 in there that she's, considering possibly bringing up with the, just on some technical word changes or that sort of thing, so.
Okay. Deb, do you have any comment?
Wendell pretty much said it. I think if anybody has any questions, so answer them.
Okay.
This is no 79 pages long.
Okay, item 14, board
Just a
referrals.
resolution.
Anything to bring up for board referrals?
I'd like to just jump back to consent agenda.
Okay.
And one of the items in there on the, just wanna make sure this wasn't glossed over. Did we receive a $10,000 donation?
Yes.
Yes.
What was that for?
That was from Louisiana Pacific
Yeah.
Corporation towards the Hatchet Innovation Lab. It was their STEM donation, and they elected to award that to the district this year, which was fantastic, so.
I just wanna thank them for donating it.
Absolutely.
Very good.
That's all I got.
I saw it on Facebook.
I do too.
Facebook,
I love that.
JJQ, The Leader, and Channel 12 all.
I
carried
think
it,
that you mentioned that. That's great though, to get that out.
Yeah, fantastic partners, they really do. Goes far beyond the money, but they can see what donations can do for the kids, so it's awesome.
Well, it's good to partner with
Yeah.
as much business as you can. They can be very helpful. Anything else for board referrals? Anything else to bring to the board? Hearing none, then I'll adjourn the January meeting. Thank you for coming, and be careful in the parking lot. Yes. Yes. Please